I would have. It's not going to happen, but I would have Maddison.
Phil Foden can do everything. He's not someone that we're going to see always receiving to feet. If you want to see the best out of Phil Foden in an England shirt, he has to be that number 10. Let's see how you would start this kind of group stage with England as well. So what would be your number 1 to 11? And then I'll do mine. Or to make it easier, I'll agree and I'll disagree as we go from position to position.
Okay, okay, cool.
Start us off. Who would be your number 1 in goal? Pickford, Ramsdale, or Nick Pope?
It's like Alexa's trying to give me the answer. No one said Alexa, but it just started having a mind of its own. But anyway, I'm gonna choose Dean Henderson because he's not in the squad, and I want to be rebellious. I'm joking. Yeah, no, Pickford. I honestly think that.
I thought Sean jumped on the podcast or something like that as well. It's just out of nowhere. I don't like England. Pick Dean Henderson. It's gonna be there.
Then I'd say, well, okay, I'm doing a 4-2-3-1, right? Yeah. So this is what I would do as opposed to what I think, right? So yeah, Pickford because then Luke Shaw left back, then John Stones and Harry Maguire.
I'd go for Ben White personally. I think Ben White's had a much better season so far as well. I think he's had a lot more game time with Arsenal. I think he's more up to it.
Instead of Harry Maguire?
Instead of Harry Maguire. So Stones and Ben White centre-back.
I'd agree with that. It's just he hasn't played centre-back. That's the thing. He hasn't played centre-back this season.
His better games this season has been as right-back, has moved Tomiyasu out of the squad completely as well, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I just have that feeling that Harry Maguire, after playing like 10, 11 games this season, Europa League, League Cup, couple Premier League games, being injured as well,
I think for the start
I'm not comfortable for that first game. Personally, that's how I would like to do it again. Just get Harry Maguire settled into this kind of squad. But Ben White, I feel like doesn't deserve to be ruled out of a starting position because of Trippier's amazing form and Walker coming back into fitness and stuff like that as well. So that's why I'd go Ben White centre back personally.
I hear that. I think just on the 5 subs, it's a nice touch that's been maintained, and especially in the heat as well. So that'll go a long way. I think the team that I choose to start the tournament off with isn't a team that I think will end it, and that's why I think Maguire will be a good person to start off with because he's steady Eddie. He's been reliable for England, but I think things do need to change if England are gonna actually take it over the line. Got into the semi-final, final, and then if you want to win it, something's got to give, and I think Maguire probably is that thing that will need to give. But I think at the start of the tournament, I'll just say play Maguire, and then right back would be Trippier. I think he's the one that needs to start. Incredible. Also, Walker just coming back from injury, don't know how his fitness is, and Trent's a liability. So then we go into midfields. Goes without saying, 2. We got Rice and Bellingham. Would you agree?
Personally, I'd go for a 3, but I know when you're doing a 4-2-3-1, you're going to have an attacking midfielder, so I'll follow you for this one as well. But definitely Bellingham and Declan Rice need to be in there. I think Declan Rice keep holding it down in midfield as well. Jude Bellingham, I think with him, I saw that video recently with David Beckham. I'll send it to you if you haven't seen it.
I've seen it.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Why he's number 22. His coach was like, you can be number 10, you can be number 8 and number 4, all in one, to round off to be number 22. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see number 22 there, Jude Bellingham. So hopefully if he gives, if he's been given, Southgate doesn't really do this, but if he gives his centre defensive midfielder, Jude Bellingham, license to roam, I think it'll be a lot more effective than just having the 2 centre midfielders that we've seen previously for England as well. So I would like to see that with Jude Bellingham because he has a lot more to offer going forward than he does just in the middle of the park as well.
100%. His dribbling is I don't know if it's underrated, but I think people see him.
It's underlooked. It definitely is
definitely underlooked. Yeah, he really skips past people as though he's a winger, but he does it in the center of the pitch, which is amazing. And so long term, he could go a bit more forward, as a number 10. But he's definitely not afraid to get stuck in. With that video, I was a bit I was like, why number 4 though? I was thinking more of a 10, 8, and a 6, like a deep line midfielder. But fair enough.
So maybe that's how they do it in Birmingham. They have their defensive midfielders as number 4. So okay, cool.
maybe. Who
And
knows?
Gerrard's probably played number 4 as well, I think, once upon a time for England when Lampard was number 8. So I think that may have been a thing at the same time. And obviously,
Probably
Gerrard and Bellingham comparisons are all over the place. So that
all
could have
over
been a
the
thing.
place. Yeah.
Once upon a time. This is a
Uh,
tricky bit now. We've got
yeah.
our steady Eddies in there. We've got our midfielders in there as well. How do we plan this attack? How would you plan this attack? Because I think we'll probably get 1 or 2 the same, and I think 2 will probably get
Yeah.
wavering.
I reckon that as well. So so the first game
Iran.
at Iran, right? So
Remember,
I
2 banks of floor up for low block, just defend, try and get a 0-0 or a 1-0 by a set piece.
Potentially really not trying to get hit on the counter attack as well. So I mean, with that being said, like some people might say, okay, you need a runner, and Mason Mount is a runner in that sense, yeah. But I think if it goes a bit unbalanced, then I would bring Mason Mount on. I would have. It's not going to happen, but I would have Maddison. I'd have Maddison in the 10. I'd have Maddison in the 10. And then I'd have Saka on the right.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
Saka.
The thing about Saka, he can go past a man, but his vision is exquisite. Maybe not exquisite, but it's excellent.
It is exquisite
it's
for his
exquisite.
age, to be fair, as well. You can expect of like a 30-year-old deep-lying centre midfielder, but what he does on the pitch for a winger with his close view off as well, it's incredible to really see. And when I saw Gareth Southgate play him left wing back that time recently as well, I think against Italy, I was like, what are you doing? Don't ruin Saka like that as well. Don't disrespect him by playing as a wing back. That's just disrespectful because he's kind of made that, for me, he's made that right wing position his own. No one's bothering Saka on the right wing. He's made that his own, and fair play to him.
I disagree, I think
Ooh, really?
I really like Sterling on the right, I really like, especially internationally, like in terms of taking a man on, the left back on just directly, beating him down the line, getting him across in, cut back, whatever. I really like it. I just like Saka's vision, because he can do both. And so that brings me onto the left-hand side. And I know what I just said, but I'll choose Rashford. I'll choose Rashford. And this is someone who's able to go like beyond the defense, runs in behind. Like no one likes that. I think the other players like it too much to feet. And because Saka has the balance of being able to take a man on and find a pass, and then you got Maddison who's gonna be conducting like the orchestra, like pulling the strings, if you will. I think you just need that person running in behind, because Kane's gonna drop deep as well, and like without giving it away. Oh yeah, we've given it away.
It was always going to be Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Callum Wilson wasn't starting versus Iran. As much as we do, I don't mind Callum Wilson.
I wanted to say Tony, but yeah.
Too many bets. He's been making too many bets as well.
Too many.
He's probably bet on the whole World Cup as well, Ivan Toney. Do you know how bad this is going to be for him? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if he got selected and then he got charged with all of this as well. Gareth Southgate would have had egg on his face, man. He may have just done it out of precaution, to be fair, and not selected him. But
I reckon he knew.
I think he knew. I think being the England manager, he knew. He had a whiff of it somehow. I was like, nah, I can't risk that. Can't have disruption to the squad. So 3 out of the 4, I agree with you. Perfectly fine. Obviously, I gave away the Saka one. Harry Kane definitely as well. Rashford starting, I definitely agree with, and I'll tell you in a bit. But I don't want James Maddison starting. For me personally, in the number 10, I would love to see Phil Foden given that freedom. Personally, because he's someone who I think, he's gonna fall off. He's gonna fall off for Man City. He never does. He only increases his game better every single season. For England, he hasn't shown it. And why he hasn't shown it is because he's played as a left winger, as a right winger. In his Manchester City side, when you're seeing him play, it's amazing because they spread the pitch out so well. 1 to 11 can pass the ball properly, get it to everyone's feet. They can play 2 feet, which is really good. Just like you said as well. When you're expecting it to feet, it's a lot more comfortable. But when you're in the middle of the field in international football, expecting it to feet, you have a lot of time on the ball. And a lot of people don't really use that time properly. We've seen Mason Mount be number 10. He hasn't used it properly as well. He's kind of wasted a lot of chances, misplaced passes, all of that. It's been worrying to really see. Jack Grealish, when he came in at the Euros, he's a lot more refreshing to see, kind of taking players on, allowing Harry Kane to drop deep, and then also running past him, which made it a bit easier as well. Phil Foden can do everything. I think we've seen he can do everything. He's not someone that we're going to see always receiving to feet. But personally, for me, if you want to see the best out of Phil Foden in an England shirt, he has to be that number 10. because you do know Harry Kane's going to drop back, but you know Foden can actually double up in midfield if you need to double up with Bellingham as well. Both of them being creative, having the freedom to kind of do what they want and having Declan Rice behind him. I think that would be very refreshing to see.
Yeah.
And Marcus Rashford is having one of the better starts of the season that we've seen for quite a long while in a Manchester United shirt. I don't see why Raheem Sterling for his Chelsea form deserves a start, or personally why Jack Grealish for his Man City form should deserve a start as well. I know Jack Grealish has had a couple of good games, but realistically speaking, Marcus Rashford, if you want to get the best out of him, it's when you have a striker dropping deep and the centre-backs are stepping up so he can break that offside trap, like we've seen time and time and time again, especially against Arsenal and against Liverpool in the big games in the Premier League this season as well. So that's kind of me and you done in terms of that England side as well. We've got a couple of mostly agreements, one or two disagreements, but nothing too fatal, I would say. It's just Foden and Ben White for me, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think with Foden as well, I just want to give him some props as well, because him playing on the left, right? Did you watch him in the Under-17 World Cup when England won a few years ago?
Yeah.
Right. I remember seeing that. It was against
that
Spain.
was in India as well. We mentioned about India before. That was the first time I think India held a world championship title type thing in football. I'm like, what the hell? India are going to somehow be like the 2040 hosts of the World Cup or something like that with no sick, players. Bro. It would be sick. 1 billion people going into football would be crazy to see how it goes. But hopefully they get to like at least 3 stars on FIFA instead of 1 star. No one wants to see a 1-star team hosting the World Cup.
Hosted either, so I think there's definitely some regions that could host it.
Maybe if India used some of that bribe money, send it to FIFA, it could work. It could work.
Don't
worry, I could go all day with this. I could go.
You could go. Okay.
That's why I don't support India in the cricket. All of your bribery money in the IPL. But yeah, I'm sorry, Zim. Carry on. I'm gonna go on a rant if I don't. Otherwise, he's having some water.
All right. I got you. Foden like balled out in that tournament, and it was such a weird one because I think people were giving him props for not the wrong reasons, but like they didn't know what to box him as. And it's kind of similar to Jude Bellingham, but I guess Jude Bellingham's a bit deeper. So Foden is very well renowned for his touch, close control, dribbling as well, like gliding past people. He bagged a lot of goals in that tournament. And you're like, hold on, wait, you're not really a striker, but you're bagging in goals. So what are you really? Like it was a conundrum, but a positive conundrum. Another thing that I think people don't realize, like, he's bloody fast. He's pretty quick.
His acceleration is something that people don't really see a lot, because with him, his sprint bursts are over like 10, 15 yards. Playing in the Manchester City system, and they've always got bodies to kind of work with him as well, which is great. But when you can actually take on a man, which he can, he's got a bit of Eden Hazard about him this season as well. Fully taking on players, fully taking them on one-on-one. Drop of a shoulder like we like to see as well. Center of gravity is a lot lower than it has been, which is really fantastic to see. And unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of it in that 6-3 defeat to 6-3 win for Manchester City, I should say. But seeing Phil Foden actually turn up in a lot of games, not just the big games, in quite a lot of games, even when they're drawing or when they're losing, it goes to show he's a lot more consistent as a player. But I think for this England side to get the best out of Phil Foden, he has to play as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, we've seen him on the left, and I think the reason why he's been put there is because he has that explosiveness. Like he's got aggression in how he runs, and you might think he's slight, but like he'll pip to the ball before like the defender. Like he's got that burst, so that's probably why he's been out wide, and he's comfortable in possession. But yeah, I agree, he definitely should be given an opportunity. I just think against Iran, give it to Maddison. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll see how the tournament goes on.